Welcome to Diamond Stories, where we bring you inspiring and thought-provoking stories that touch the heart and reflect real-life experiences. If you love engaging stories with deep lessons, you're in the right place. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into another powerful story. Marriage is a beautiful union, built on love, companionship, and commitment. But what happens when two people share the same home yet feel miles apart? Today, we bring you a touching story titled Married but Lonely, a silent battle in many homes. It's a story that reflects the silent struggles in many marriages, where work, responsibilities, and even good intentions take priority over love and connection. Meet Lillian, a woman who has everything: a loving husband, beautiful children, and a comfortable home. But deep inside, she feels invisible, like a stranger in her own marriage. Her husband, William, is hardworking, devoted to his job and his church ministry. But in his pursuit of duty, he has unknowingly neglected the most important part of his life, his family. Will Lillian continue to suffer in silence, or will William realize his mistake before it's too late? Let's find out in today's story. Lillian had a life many envied: a devoted husband, William, 2 wonderful children, and a beautiful home. To outsiders, their marriage looked strong, an example to follow. But inside those walls, Lillian was slowly fading away. William was a hard-working man, balancing a demanding job with his deep commitment to church. His passion for serving was evident, leading prayer meetings, organizing church programs, mentoring young men. The congregation admired him, often calling him a man of purpose. Yet, in the midst of it all, his own home was starving, not for food, but for his attention. Lillian had been patient. She understood his drive, supported his ministry, and took care of their home. But as days turned into weeks and weeks into years, she realized she was becoming a stranger to the one person she had vowed to spend her life with. Evenings were the hardest. The children would be asleep, the house quiet, and she would sit alone, staring at the untouched dinner she had prepared for 2. William was either at work, at a church program, or too exhausted to hold a conversation. Loneliness became her unwanted companion. She tried to ignore it, convincing herself that this was just a phase, but deep inside, she knew something was wrong. Sunday was supposed to be a family day, but for Lillian, it was another reminder of her isolation. While other families sat together in church, she sat alone with the children. William was always on one assignment or another, preaching, teaching, attending leadership meetings. He was present in God's house but absent in his own home. On weekdays, it wasn't much different. His work demanded long hours, and when he wasn't at the office, he was busy with church activities. By the time he got home, exhaustion consumed him. Conversations became brief, often revolving around logistics, bills, schedules, and responsibilities. There was no time for laughter, for companionship, for love. Lillian had tried to talk to him, to express how she felt, but every conversation ended with him reminding her of his responsibilities, how his job provided for the family, how the church needed him, how people depended on him. She began to wonder if she was being selfish. He was doing good things, wasn't he? He was making a difference in people's lives, but why did it feel like she was invisible? Her best friend, Esther, no sadness she tried to hide. She listened as William poured out her heart, confessing how she felt more like a housekeeper than a wife. Esther reminded her that marriage was meant to be a partnership, not a place of silent suffering. One evening, Lillian prepared a special dinner. She set the table beautifully, hoping this night would be different. William had promised to come home early. She waited, checking the clock as minutes turned into hours. Her phone buzzed. Another text. Still at church. Don't wait up. Something inside her broke. She cleared the table, placed the untouched food in the fridge, and sat in the dark, tears silently falling. She couldn't continue like this. That night, she wrote William a letter. Not an angry one, not filled with accusations, but an honest reflection of her heart. She placed it on his Bible and went to bed. William found the letter when he returned. As he read her words, guilt washed over him. She wasn't asking for much, just his presence, his attention, his love. He had been so focused on his work and ministry that he failed to see the pain in his own home. The next morning, for the first time in a long time, William didn't rush out. He sat with Lillian at the table, looked at her properly, and for the first time in years, truly saw her. It wasn't easy, but he made a decision to change. He adjusted his schedule, delegated responsibilities, and prioritized his family. Church was important, work was necessary, but his home, his wife, his children, was his first ministry. Lillian saw the effort. The dinners became conversations, Sundays became family moments, and the silence that once filled their home was replaced with laughter. It wasn't a perfect journey, but it was a step in the right direction. Marriage was not meant to be endured in loneliness. It was meant to be shared, nurtured, and fought for. Many homes suffer not from fights, but from neglect. Love isn't just about providing. It's about being present. No one should be married but lonely. If you see the signs, speak up. If you're the one causing the loneliness, change before it's too late. Love is not just about big gestures. It's in the little moments that make a marriage whole. Loneliness in marriage is one of the deepest pains a person can experience. Many couples are not torn apart by arguments or infidelity, but by emotional distance. Love is not just about providing financially or serving others. It's about being present for the ones who matter most. William had good intentions, but his absence was slowly destroying his marriage. It took a wake-up call for him to realize that his home was his first ministry. Through effort, change, and intentional love, he was able to restore what was almost lost. If you're feeling lonely in your marriage, don't suffer in silence. Speak up, and if you're too busy to notice your partner's pain, take a step back and listen before it's too late. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Enny's Diamond Stories for more inspiring and life-changing stories. Your support helps us create more content that touches lives. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. See you in the next story.